The video, it was did in a hurry, but with the translation and everything, we needed to actually do that, and we need to follow that work. I'd like to start with pointing back to last week's Workers' War article, Racist Neglect Behind the East Harlem Explosion. I think we should pick that up if we haven't read it and reread it. And I would go to this week's article, who actually dealt with the front page of East Harlem. Lonnie wrote both of these articles so that we could actually pass it along, and if we have time, I think we should come and go in any community, any of our community, and get these two issues of the paper out. Third, I passed out a handout here, and I want people to look at the handout because I have a question and answer, and I want to discuss where do people think this explosion was at, what these pictures actually tell us. What event? The explosion in East Harlem or something else? Beyond that, we have a handout. We have on back of this, we have an open letter that we actually did. We formed an emergency meeting last Wednesday of Chelsea Housing Coalition and the People Assembly to actually take up the question, the urgent question of the bombing in East Harlem. We were joined by PIS, we were joined by Octavolve, and we had a meeting in Chelsea Housing, an appropriate place because the attack by Con Ed and the neglect was on housing, on the housing in the neighborhood. If you look back at the video, you heard people said that not only 8 family and 70 family got displaced, and not only businesses got displaced, but they were saying blocks down got their power shut off and got displaced. Beyond that, the whole neighborhood is being occupied by every agency that you could imagine, like it's a war zone in there. For us actually having an open letter, raising the question of what Con Ed is, its profit system, its neglect, it's constantly raising people rate, endangering people. By having this open letter and saying that what we actually could actually do and taking it to the community and meeting community was something that was urgent, and we need to do it right away. And we got with these 4 different groups and actually put this out and redid it to the form that you're actually seeing it now, because the first point was a picture of a Con Ed office, because we wanted to get the point that this was this powerful entity that actually displaced the neighborhood and the community. So I think that will sort of, but I want to get to these pictures here quickly, because these pictures here is not the Con Ed explosion in East Harlem, not at all, but I wanted you to see it. These pictures here was called in by Comrade Deirdre to John and to Joyce and sent out of an explosion in which she heard it and thought it was a gas explosion because it shook her building on Avenue C, Wednesday the 26th. Deirdre sent it. I said, well, okay, Deirdre sent it. Right, you got that right. Thank you. Deirdre sent it. And so this is a building, but this is the same Con Ed. This is the same question of infrastructure. This is the same question of neglect. A man was burning, and people were chasing him with fire extinguishers, big holes in the street, ambulance everywhere, so forth and so forth. And I searched immediately, because when she sent it to me, I went out and got all the newspaper, and I got on the internet, and I wrote her back. I said, I can't find a story. She wrote me back a day later and a day, and she can't find a story. It's not only what they did in East Harlem. Now they did it 2 days later, a week later, in Avenue C, and like a fascist organization, a corporation is using the press and the city and the superstructure to say, we're not going to report it because we don't want to be connected to it, because your administration have to be in tow with it. These are the things that's actually happening, and we want to point out. We further want to point out that the Center for an Urban Future, this is a study here of $47 billion of infrastructure that need to be did, including gas lines, utilities, electricity, and everything. On the electrical here, which Deirdre wrote me back and said it wasn't a gas explosion, but it was electrical oil. It was electrical explosion, and it seemed like it was in one of these big apartments that they just did because they had terrace all around, one of these fancy places that they used to displace the neighborhood, and whatever expedient and whoever gave them permit and the grant and so forth, this was the building. But in this urban study that was on the radio and the newspaper some weeks ago actually said that it's Con Ed responsibility, not only for pipelines, but for electrical as well. Because Deirdre pointed out that initially she didn't see any Con Ed trucks, and later on she found that. So we need to study this and learn this because it gives us tools to fight Con Ed and might enable us to get some reparation for those people who were displaced in the neighborhoods. Dealing with the press and dealing with the situation in our barrios and in East Harlem, and what we were faced with as a party and being a vanguard organization, with the greatest sensitivity, and that was on everybody's mind, how would you deal with the situation in East Harlem? How would Chelsea Housing over here in Chelsea deal with the situation over there? First, we actually said that it was a situation that could happen anywhere. We held sensitive for the family, for the community. That's why we put out this statement. We went over and over it again, and it might need to be changed again. We went down and met people. One of the victims, a woman that you did see, me and Teresa went down and just by leafleting and met Martha, who was in the video. In the schools, Kwame, my son, went to PS 112 and PS 206, which is a group that's collecting supplies, and I will pass that around, and they're still collecting supplies. I talked to them today. They're right there on 119th Street. You know what I'm saying? We talked to SB, we talked to Panama, we talked to the Southbound Congress here, and Fonte, the brother that you saw in the video. So we did the outreach to the community, but as a Communist Party, we have a responsibility. It's sensitivity and a national question, but we have a responsibility, and our responsibility is to approach the bourgeoisie down there on the ground as a vanguard organization with the community, with every sensitivity, and try to bring a greater involvement from the community and point out our experience in fighting these corporate, the experience of a warlike situation in the area. Let me move quicker. We actually attended a funeral of Carmen Tepta, who was a Puerto Rican woman who got buried Monday. Mike, myself, and Larry from the Chelsea Housing Coalition, and some other people didn't know about it. Rosa tried to attend a funeral earlier, and that didn't happen. And in this funeral, we went to the church some days before, talking about sensitivity and approach and procedure. We went to the church and gave the church a Chelsea Coalition housing meeting and said, this is who we were. We were a tenant, we were in Chelsea, we were concerned, we wanted to give solidarity, we want to have a card, we want to bring flowers, and they said, welcome. And at the Raleigh, we got this card signed. We went and collect money at the meeting, and we got flowers, and we went to the funeral. 700 people in the first funeral. The second one, 700 people. I counted 5-6 times. 700 people in the meeting. In the meeting, you had a delegation from the governor's office in Puerto Rico sent 2 people in the meeting. You had the minister who got displaced in one of the churches from the other church and came to the meeting. Pentecostal church. It wasn't no, oh, I'm sorry, and blah, blah, blah. It was a concert. It was guitars and drums and and choirs and so forth. So they really dealt with the question of actually preparing the community and the relatives to, this is a situation. But in the eulogy, the pastor actually raised the question of gentrification. Gentrification is taking away our homes, small businesses, our culture. This is what he dealt with. And he went further to deal with the question of immigrant. And he made a joke. He said, well, if they were to come in this church, I guess we get closed down because we have every immigrant community here. This is a different line from the orientation of the administration, de Blasio, and Melissa, that we actually have, and the press which is actually being coerced and guided by Con Ed. This is a different orientation. So by being there, we got to meet first by going and asking some of the relatives, the church. We got to meet some of the people in the community of the church. Our face got to be seen in some areas. We got to hear of the colleges and the community which they interact and so forth. So that's good too, because we need to introduce ourselves to the community in more ways than one. And those 8 victims, it, to me, is like any revolutionary martyr that got killed by the class enemy. They are a victim and they should be named. They are Barrio 8. This is a situation, and they should be honored and they should be never forgotten. So that was the church meeting. What was conspicuous about the church meeting, it wasn't any official from the city, any from any agency, any from any government, FBI, the National Safety Commission Board, no one. Mark Figueroa, no one. De Blasio, no one. And I contributed to what that minister was saying is something different here, and we should outreach farther to that particular minister. The national question. Melissa Mark Figueroa, Puerto Rican council person who worked with us around Katrina, who worked around housing years and years ago, who's been in the community, who's known in Puerto Rico, is now the Speaker of the House, the most second powerful person in City Hall. City Hall of Wall Street, of Capitol. This is what it's that. But to the Puerto Rican community, she rivals Obama. From Puerto Rico to here, to hip-hop groups, to friends that we have in this office, to everyone in the community, they have a piece of empowerment. This is what they mean to her, and we better know it. And it's not going back. It's not going back at all. The bourgeois press again. Mark Figueroa, Melissa. A Saturday New York Times, big picture, anybody could see it from all the way from the back. What it says, she stays away out of the sight of the East Harlem explosion. She's hiding. This is the bourgeois press. Then they go into, we read her Twitters. Oh, you went into her Twitters? Her Twitters when she likes this, and she Twittered this person, and she Twittered politics, and she went to Puerto Rico, and she Twitters. This shows the continuous attack on a Puerto Rican woman, a council person, by the state. It's like saying, if you don't know you with us, you're among us now. And this will tell everybody, you better get it right. You're in the family. You know the family? You can't quit. You're in the family. So you being down there on the street, you're being involved with the Cuban Five, you're being down there with housing, you in a different ball game now. We will see how that play out. But I raise it just to say that we are taking many things into consideration. Furthermore, we had a meeting here, a fraction meeting, following the demonstration Wednesday night. And in that meeting, we went over all these development that was actually happening. We felt good about the march. We felt that even on a Sunday, and I went down there and I walked the routes. I knew what I was doing. I was trained. I went and I walked the route, and I saw the community, and where we were started at is a part of the community that has been made a Skid Row community. You're selling bottles. It's like a real traffic area, and it goes from that to the heart of the area, which is 116th Street, with the vibrant cultural community, stores and centers and so forth. At the beginning of it, it was the Con Ed that was closed, but that wasn't the point. The point was that there wasn't nobody, through no press, through the Puerto Rican community, because of what I just said of the relationship of empowerment, or through the other movement that actually was saying that it was Con Ed. So whether we did it on a Sunday or whatever, just the fact that we were there and we moved through the community and met with the community and went to the site is what we needed to do. And we accomplished that, and people joined us, and we got names, and we heard stuff that we didn't know. We're not the only one doing something. Don't get so full of ourselves. And other housing complex in 3 different areas has been having marches. People have been collecting school supplies. You go on the corner, all the leaflet that we put up stayed up. So we're making an impact and we're introducing ourselves. But what we need to do now We talked about Con Ed, and in this meeting, comrades, we have to go to the workers. We have to go to the Con Ed union. What is it? Utility Workers of America 1.2 or something like that. I can't. 1-2. It's our responsibility as a working class organization, as communists. The way that we found a way to deal with the national question and sensitivity, we got to go to the union. That's our next task. It has to be some sort of open, and no matter what they do. Remember, they got locked out. No strike, locked out. Not too long ago. Remember Con Ed and the whole situation of Sandy, where the plant blew up there. So you have Sandy blew up there, you have East Harlem blew up, you have Avenue C blowed up. So it's a situation where there's no question what we need to do with Con Ed. One way that we want to enter it is two things that we want to do and we discuss. But one way that we want to take on that doesn't pit a council person or a city rep or a press person against the establishment as the media is actually approach what is it? It's a National Transportation Safety Board. This is the federal cops on the ground. You go down there, you see jackets of them blanket the city like a war zone. FBI jackets all over the place. Signs you never know, Department of Environmental. I mean, it's like a mecca down there of invading army on the ground. But these are the people, and we got this from Comrade Marley, who had some experience with dealing with Con Ed and the aftermath of the storm and the rainstorm in Queens. So we want a petition to be a part of a hearing in our barrios. And it's our right to do that. They said it right here. We've been reading it. So that's one approach. Another approach we could say, well, the public advocate job is to advocate a hearing for the community in our barrios. We might want to do that. And I think most definitely, and this is just something I'm thinking of, is that in May, when Con Ed has his annual multi-billion dollars, giving out $9 million salary here, we should be there. We should be there. We should be there for the question of the explosion in Avenue C, for East Harlem, for Sandy, for the rate change, for the workers, and for our class. We could go forward with this, comrade. And I'd like to thank everybody because we spend on a dime. And I know May 1st and everything was going on. But this is a situation that's so materialist and they're so hated. They're hated. They're so hated that we could be down there. Right now we could be down there. It's no excuse in the world. If you're doing PPA work, you could pass out that leaflet. If you're doing May 1st work, you could pass out that leaflet. If you're getting for signature, you could do it. Workers' World, you could do it right down there in the Barrios or Avenue C. Thank you, comrades. Has brought some more clarity on where we need to go. I'd like to comment on immigration, and Teresa spoke to it, but the immigrant in the community is forced underground. When I say all these police forces are there, they're forced underground, whether you're talking about the synagogue community in West Harlem or all the way down to our barrios. When that happens, they leave their housing, some of them leave their jobs, the slumlords come up and make bigger demands on them. The bosses make bigger demands on them. So we have a bigger problem down there than we had before on the question of immigration. The question of environment, one of the people that spoke there will be on a program Sunday night. His name is Ken Dale. He's WBAI environmental program person. I went to his website. He's an engineer. He's a specialist. He has a program called Ecologic, and we should look into it, but he's interested in meeting with us to explore and raise, well, what is the gas level when you say 0 or 20, some of the stuff that we need to know how to explain, or if we go to a body, we need to have like expert with us. That is open to us now. The question of Mark Figueroa, Melissa, I wanted to make it clear is that it's the classical question of the right to self-determination. She has a right to be official. She has a right to do that job. It's never been done before, and we're not saying that's not the party position, but the party want to be socialized. But it's the right of self-determination, and that's what we're standing on when we're addressing her. We are looking for a greater committee. People are away now, and we'll be back. And most of all, I think we need to stay engaged with people. And I will pass out, I'll copy some more of these. People, they're looking for donations still. So if anyone knows or have any donation to actually give to the schools for the many needs, and I think we're in a place where we know the distribution, not like the Red Cross. These are people in the community. The distribution will get to it. Rosa Marie explained last week what we saw what Red Cross was doing. And we had a meeting with, her name is Martha Neves, who's a woman who got forced removed there. She explained when she went to the Red Cross truck last week and asked for that her chest was hurting and that she needs something. Her house is like 2 blocks away from the explosion house. So the explosion is here, and her house is over there. So Red Cross, they had us stayed outside for like 30 minutes, and they were scrambling to deal with this question of ventilation. And she was saying, well, in 9/11, they gave them out, blah, blah, blah. They came back and gave her a mask, one of these masks that you use, the dust mask. This is what they gave her. Just they had the nerve to come back out and give her a dust mask. Finally, I went back when we went to the funeral. I went back to the area, and I saw more for some reason. It was like late at night, but you saw like big holes in the street, and you saw businesses was bombed out. Somehow I didn't see it before, but when you walk it again, you really got to see like craters more than the site area. And where we actually laid the flowers and gave the salute to the victims and the community, those flowers are still there. Thank you. They did learn from it. They took some big Con Ed trucks, 2 of them, and they got it like corner to cover the big hole. So the shot that Mike got or anybody else got of the 2 buildings being exploded, you won't see it anymore.